I'm still hard to click for.
Guys, we are live right now. Buffalo Boys Week 10, Episode 10. We are recording after 3 failed attempts, but this is going to be gold.
You know what they say, Todd? Third time is the charm. And it looks like we're live. Looks like we are going. Excited to be here with you and excited to be joined by some of our closest friends, some of our WPFL owners at Commissioner Nixon's bachelor party. This is quite an event, Todd. How are you feeling, first of all?
I'm feeling great. I've got some of my best friends around me right now,
Yes.
and some of our best sponsors, including one former sponsor. We've got Farmer Dave to my left. We've got Mattress Black to my right. We've got our great commissioner and his brother here. We don't even have enough time to go through the whole guest list right now, Ryan, but you will hear from them, and you will have a fun time.
Absolutely. Speaking of our sponsors, of course, we are brought to you by the good folks at Mattress Blacks. It's an honor to be sitting next to the Mattress Black himself, Todd Black.
I got a king size mattress that's good for your bird.
This week, customers who use the code SLEEPY at checkout are going to get 50% off their first mattress purchase. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really short-lived promotion we've got for you there, but yeah, code SLEEPY for 50% off any mattress from Mattress Blacks this week only.
That's right, and as always, you can always find at Mattress Blacks, you can always get a king-size mattress that's good for your back.
And now over to Farmer Dave. Farmer Dave, I know the season is a bit quiet right now, but do you have any new ads you want the people to hear? Farmer Dave has nothing. But we do have a new sponsor, a brand new sponsor this week, and it is from Darnielle, and this is Danny's Dream Mattresses, and she's seemingly coming into the market to undercut Mattress Black. She has paid good money to give whatever Doug is giving you at half price and double the quality.
Wow. I didn't know if that was allowed, Todd. Two mattress companies sponsoring the same podcast. I feel pretty weird about that. But thanks, Danny, for the money that I haven't seen yet. So
We don't discriminate here.
yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. Thanks for being a sponsor. We always start off the podcast, Todd, with what are you sipping on? I see what you're sipping on, but tell the good folks at home.
I, like many of us in this circle, currently have a Coors Light in hand and not getting buffaloed because, as we always tell you, don't get buffaloed, right, Krishna? That's a thumbs up from Krishna.
Absolutely. I am drinking Coors Light as well. Almost done with this one. Luckily, I have one right here. We don't usually drink macros on the pod, Todd, but when you're hanging out with the homies, partying, sometimes you got to drink something as cold as the Rockies.
There it is.
So, hey, anyone with a drink?
A special moment. We get to cheers in person
yeah.
here, Ryan.
Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
Salud.
Todd, I'm just going to say, this is kind of creepy. Reporting with a bunch of people. Did Nixon just get
We had a live
on the pod?
We need an alarm
Nice,
sound.
Nixon. Nice. I mean, what a special day indeed, Todd.
I think that's the second live Buffalo we've had.
I think so. Yeah.
Thanks
Anyway.
for allowing us to have that, Nixon.
All right. As we usually do, starting off the podcast, let's talk about the quality control coach of the week from week 9, Todd. Who you got?
Thanks, Ryan. This week is a change of pace for this owner who has the most clown owner weeks on the season so far, one in which I foreshadowed on last week's pod. The privilege goes to one of the few people in the league that is not here right now, and that's Jonathan Mims, who nearly started his optimal lineup, leaving only 3 points on the bench, while just barely edging out Forrest and securing a crucial win at this point in the season.
Nice. Congrats on the win, Mims. Congrats on the quality control coach distinction this week. And for every quality control coach, there must be a clown coach or a clown owner. Who's your pick this week, Todd?
He's here. And we're going to hear from him.
Can't wait.
Our clown owner is none other than Jimbo. Jimmy Simpson this week left a crucial 4 points on the bench, and Ryan is pointing and mocking Jimmy. He left a crucial 4 points on the bench that would have given him the win. Imagine starting George Pickens over Jaden Reed.
If I'm not mistaken, I would have still lost. But I'll take it.
All right, he's taking it like a gentleman. We'd love to see that. Next week he'll be a quality control coach. We'll just have to see. Let's move into transaction review, Todd. We are recording this pod on a Friday, which means that we have already gone through waivers. Were there any interesting waiver pickups this week? Any trades? Tell the people.
Thanks, Ryan. This week saw a fairly average transaction period, waiver period. The largest bid being Forrest dropping 30% of his budget on rookie Keaton Mitchell following a breakout week. Will he supersede Hill? To be determined. But I wanted him bad, and he bid, and I bid the rest of my budget and still couldn't get him. You know, no other competition on the bids this week except you, Ryan, winning Antonio Gibson.
That's right. Yeah, I needed another running back. Glad to get Antonio. Hope it works out for me. Yeah. Nixon is downvoting that in real life. Let's see. Week 9. I don't actually remember how we did with our picks, but you remember how you did, Todd.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. I hit 5 of 7, putting me at 41-22 on the season so far. I missed on my weekly wager with Hoyle winning, and Jimmy almost pulled it out for me on Monday night with a bold Chargers D start, but couldn't quite do it.
Okay, very good. And with that, let's go into our Week 10 picks. Let's start out with the team who is number 1 in the WPFL right now. That is Mattress Black. He is outstretching his arms. This week, Doug is playing
Forrest.
Yes. Doug, how do you feel about your matchup against Forrest?
Thanks for asking, Ryan. I feel pretty bad about this matchup with Forrest. I've been worried about it since the moment I, rolled over and I could see who I was going to be playing this week. Check out the roster. I'm looking thin. I'm looking thin. I was actually kind of hoping that I could maybe make some trades here on the trip to kind of make my situation a little bit better. It's a little late though. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Very good. You do have 15.9 points so far, but you were projected at 77.7. Meanwhile, Forrest is projected at 103.3. And I think Dave knows where I'm going here, and I almost don't want to say it, just to have Doug be a little surprised. See if he's actually looking at his lineup. But Doug, you may want to make a move there. With that said, yeah, I think Forrest is going to win this one pretty easy. Todd?
CJ Stroud is amazing, Ryan, and I love watching him, but he can't carry Doug every week for the rest of the season, and Justin Jefferson still isn't practicing yet, so it's getting cold. Tua doesn't throw the ball well in the cold, and I don't think Hill's ceiling is as high anymore, so it's not looking good for Doug. It is looking good for Forrest, though, so I'm taking Forrest.
Absolutely. Our next game, there are 3 teams that are 6-3. One of them is the Bachelor himself and the commissioner. Balls, Nixon, is taking on Utah. Who should we start out with? Do you want to go first, or should we allow our guests to go first?
I'll take it. Nixon has the biggest projection of the week so far, which has me thrilled, especially with the backdrop of his WPFL record-setting performance last season against me, where he posted 187 points. However, I'm excited for Zay Jones to return because when he's been on the field, Kirk has been the 3rd target, plus they're going against San Francisco. So big flop projected there, in my opinion. And Deontay is unlikely to have a big week this week against the Packers secondary, as they're just going to get run all over. I think Nixon will be regretting not starting Michael Wilson this week with Kyler Murray coming back. So given some of those pitfalls I'm foreseeing, I'm projecting that Nixon will be clown owner this week. And a little backdrop, I have won 4 of the last 5, so consider it 5 of the last 6.
Nixon, your response.
Well, Todd, I always love your historical matchup data, as if that matters even a little bit for the current year. I think that's always really cute. I might actually start Michael Wilson. I want to hear more about his health as well as Kyler Murray's health before I make that final decision, but I disagree with your assessment about Deontay Johnson. They like to throw short little passes to him because he's good with the ball in his hands and he's good at running those short little routes. And I think that sometimes you can sort of run through the air like that. So I feel like a big week from him. I am, though, worried about the Christian Kirk Zay Jones thing. That first week has me pretty scared. So I think that might be a real thing. I'm going to give that one to you. But your team's pretty weak and mine's coming on strong. So
You do know I have Montgomery, touchdowny Montgomery coming back this week, and Kyler breaking out.
one of those things is true, and the other one is a projection. We'll see, Dad. We'll see. How many extra points do you think you're going to get from Kyler over Jordan Love, who has been your quarterback?
About 5.
It seems optimistic for a guy's first game back in the league, but I agree with you. Jordan Love is really bad, so it wouldn't be hard to improve on him.
Well, I think it's going to be a good matchup, but I am taking Nixon in this one.
I'm taking Nixon as well.
Good.
And I'm on the other side here, so
Okay.
I've picked my team right almost every week this season, so it's not looking good for you, Nixon.
Let's move on to another 6-3 versus 4-5 matchup. Me versus Adler. Sitting across from me. Adler, how do you think you're going to do against Mr. Back-to-Back?
Ryan, I'm gonna have a very dramatic win against you this week, and since you guys have never had me on this podcast before, I'm gonna break down the shit out of this matchup, like bit by bit. So, like, Ryan is lucky that he has Jalen Hurts on bye this week, so no push points for me, and also that Isaiah Pacheco and one of my good receivers. So no, I can't stack Smith and Hurts this week, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna get huge bottom of the order production for all you baseball fans listening to the podcast. The Jets defense are gonna put up 20 points against the Raiders. 20 points. Yeah, bold prediction for the week. Also, I know we have a lot of Commanders fans here, but they stink against the pass, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is gonna have a big game for the Seahawks. Big game. Post bye week, Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's like actually part of the Seahawks offense now. He's going off. And also, unfortunately, this is also good for Todd, who I always root against. But going to be a big Trey McBride game with Kyler Murray coming back and just only dumping the ball off to his tight end all game and being scared to run. So he's just going to McBride all game. Now, I am sad that Christian McCaffrey's coming back off the bye. So I don't really want to play against him. But that's why it's going to be a dramatic win, because I can't just blow you out like I've been blowing people out lately. Shout out Todd, who put up 50 points and lost to me by like 50 last week. Yeah. But Ryan's so scared of me that he's benching Devontae Adams because he is worried about Devontae Adams playing against the Jets defense. And he's double flexing his tight ends with George Kittle and Taysom Hill. So this is the week that Taysom Hill falls apart after his ridiculous run of rushing touchdowns for the Saints. Because as you may know, Ryan, I'm starting Derek Carr as my bye week quarterback, and he's only throwing for touchdowns this week. No Taysom Hill nonsense in the red zone. And yeah, Devontae Adams, he's disgruntled enough already. I can't imagine how he's going to feel about getting benched from your fantasy lineup. So yeah,
I'm sure he's crying about it right now. Wow, that was a great breakdown. Thank you, Adler, and great to have you on the pod.
it's great to be here, Ryan.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, Todd, I have to take me in this matchup. DJ Moore already gave me 8.4 points. And here's the thing: I am flexing a tight end, possibly a hot thing to do. But Taysom Hill, last 2 weeks, 22 points and 19 points. He's playing Minnesota. He's going off again. 2 touchdowns, 1 throwing, 1 rushing. You heard it here first.
Another Buffalo.
Okay, another.
The silent assassin, Mike Stinson, just took out Mattress Black himself. Fortunately, we have a Mattress Black here that he can go lay on.
It was German.
You know, same thing.
I'm happy to give credit.
Anyway, Todd, I think this is going to be my game of the week. I think it will be a really good matchup with Adler, but I have to pick myself. I have to go 7-3. So it's up to you, Todd. The tiebreaker. Who do you think is going to win this one?
It's a great question, Ryan. I know that we have one listener right now that is standing up applauding your double tight end decision, and that's Neil. Neil loves the tight end, so you've got one person in your court. However, that person is not me. So I'm going with Adler this week. Adler has won 4 of the last 5, as Nixon just said, a very important metric. And, you know, both teams are projected lower than their average scores. So there seems to be some concern about the defenses you guys are playing. You got to worry with Chase banged up and Gibbs playing second fiddle to Montgomery this week, whether Adler's ceiling is there. Conversely, I'm anticipating CMC's worst game of the season against Jacksonville, which is in a a top 5 DVOA run defense right now. So I'm not high on your ceiling. I'm not high on his ceiling, but I think Adler has it.
No, your prediction is smart. You seem like a smart guy. And I'm not worried about Jamar Chase. He fell on his back like on a deep ball last week. He got his legs taken out from under him. He's sore, but he's fine. Get back to me when he's ruled out like tomorrow.
He's no T. Higgins. He won't just disappear.
No, Brown. Come on.
Thank you for bringing that up, Adler, because I was actually going to ask Todd, would you tell me the truth if I asked you a question about, okay. I have Noah Brown starting right now over Devontae Adams. Usually Devontae Adams would be the easy number one. However, the Vegas quarterback situation, not great. Jets defense, pretty good. And Nico Collins is out for Houston, which means that Noah Brown is a number 2, and he went off last week. Am I crazy for playing him over Devontae this week?
You're not. I would do the same thing. You know, Devontae's been a little upset at the Raiders and hasn't been able to do much. I know AOC had a lot of throws his way in his one start, but I would not start Devontae this week.
Devontae's not ready for sauce.
He's not.
Not ready for sauce. But also Tank Dell's getting all the touchdowns. Dave.
Go Dave, indeed. All right, last 6-3 team playing this week. It is Neil, and he's playing Rick, 2 people who aren't here, so I guess this will be pretty quick. Rick's team is 3-6. Oh, and it looks like Rick is projected at 76 points. Is that right, Todd? Against Railroad Randy's 92.4 without a kicker. Wow. Okay. I mean, it's got to be Neil though.
It wouldn't be the first or second time that Rick didn't start a full roster, so no surprise there. But it's basically Rick's bye week. You can't be mad at him for that. But following waivers, he still doesn't have a replacement flex player as of when I wrote my notes. So, I mean, this is easy for Neil. How does Neil keep getting these great, juicy matchups?
I don't know. And lucky him, honestly. We've got 2 really interesting 4 and 5 matchups. They both involve the Twins. Let's start out with Jimmy Simpson, the 69ers, going up against Mims. Jimmy is sitting with us, having buffaloed somebody already. Jimmy, how do you feel against Mims this week?
I feel good. I'm going to keep the streak of voting for myself alive. But although I think a few of you are voting for yourself just because you want to, not because you're looking at the matchups, but I am actually looking at the matchups. And let me tell you about Mims' team. It's disgusting this week. Brian Robinson against the Seattle Seahawks. You cannot run on the Seahawks. It's basically impossible. Zach Moss has essentially lost his job, and he's running against the Patriots. Patriots great against the run. Stephon Diggs has not practiced a full practice this week. Same with TJ Hawkinson, same with Demario Douglas. These are all guys in his lineup. It's not looking good. TJ Hawkinson is likely not playing. The only guy I'm worried about is Amon St. Brown. He's probably going to have like 25 to 30 points because the Chargers defense sucks. And that's going to help Jared Goff, who he has stacked with Amon St. Brown. But I'm not super worried. I've got Etienne, who's playing the San Francisco 49ers. When you think about it, it's like, oh, God, that sounds terrible, but they're really not that great against the run. And they probably just got worse against the run because they picked up Chase Young. And I talked about this with Todd last night. Chase Young likes to get out of his lanes and run defense, and it really opens up the line in huge holes. And so I think Etienne's just going to run along the left side and have a big day. I'm worried about Jerome Ford against Baltimore, but I think that game is going to be a little more open than people might think. And then the rest of my team, we're healthy. I've moved Pickens to my flex spot because he needs to get the message. It's time to stop being a little bitch and catch the ball and get both feet down. So we're moving him to the flex to see if he can figure it out. He needed a message sent his way. But no, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think either one of us reach 100, but I do think I take it.
Question for you, Jimmy. You've graciously provided corrections in the group chat following errant statements by Ryan and myself. Would you say that the Ravens' 298 rushing yards against the Seahawks at 6.9 yards a clip would be considered a dominant rushing defense?
Yeah, that's fine. I think that the Seahawks are a dominant rushing defense. They are. If you look at every game except for the Baltimore game, who lead the league by, I think, 400 yards in rushing, then they are a great defense. It's very hard to run against them.
Fair enough. We'll just say touche.
Also, it's hard to scout Keaton Mitchell, who's had 3 carries this year. Keaton Mitchell, I don't know how many yards Keaton Mitchell had, but I think it was over 100.
I believe he has 12 carries on the season.
Yeah.
He had 100 yards.
Yeah, so it was hard to scout against that kind of guy, and he tore them up.
Well, he had 4.37 speed coming out of college,
Yeah.
so it is a dynamic asset for the Ravens to be leaning on at this point in the season.
Yeah, one bad game does not mean that makes them a bad defense against the run. They are a top 5 running defense in the league, and I think it's going to continue.
Like you, Jimmy, I also look at all the matchups that each player is going against, and I don't see any big games from your players. There's no like dominant matchups against bad defenses that I see. And whereas that might be true also for Mims, I do think that Mims with Goff and Amon-Ra will have big matchups this week. And just as a side note, Mims has won 3 of the last 4 games.
Yeah. Oh, in the league, not against me.
Against you.
Right. I think Nixon pointed out that doesn't matter at all. Yeah, I don't have great matchups. That's why I said it's going to be a low-scoring game all around, and I think I'm going to take it.
Yeah, Jimmy's convinced me. I'm going with those two.
Well, I've got Mims, so we're going to have an interesting recap next week, Ryan.
Yes, we will. Last 4 and 5 versus 4 and 5 matchup. It is Uncle Mike Simpson against Mikey Shorts, who unfortunately couldn't be here. Hope Mike is feeling better quickly. Mike, how do you feel against Hoyle this week?
Not good. Not good. In the last 3 days, I've had 3 people ruled out and had to start Roshan Johnson, who did. He got 5.2 points. It's respectable, but I don't feel great.
Yeah, that's Higgins and Fields you have out, and then Herbert's on the IR. That's tough. Do you have any plans on filling up that last roster spot that you have vacant?
No, I don't actually. I'm sending a message.
Okay, very good.
Standing in solidarity with my brother Rick.
It sounds like you're standing in a loss then.
I'm going to lose regardless of my last bench slot, but yeah, I'm gonna go with that bench slot.
Okay, very good. Todd, how do you think Mike's going to do against Hoyle?
When I first started writing this, I had Mike, and since then, many players have fallen for him. Not surprising, bad luck all around for Mike usually. Burrow is back, and he might have an explosive week, even without T. I think Zay being back, like I mentioned previously, makes Ridley better. And so I thought Mike would have a couple big weeks, but, without Khalil, it's definitely, or not having had Khalil, it's definitely a little bit less of a higher ceiling so far. So I think I'm going to make a pivot here and go for Hoyle.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Hoyle. Sorry, Mike. And
I'm gonna take Mike out of the 2.
When you say that, you mean Mike Hoyle.
I'm of Mike and Mike. My pick for this week's winner of that matchup is Mike.
Agreed. I'm glad we're on the same page.
but also a bold pick.
Can't wait to be right about this next week.
It is a bold pick.
Yeah.
You can't be wrong there.
Yeah.
And we do want to page over to our great commissioner who has a couple thoughts.
No, I just want to share because I think it's interesting, and I think not even everybody here knows this. But while the guys were running out of the tunnel last night, and we were watching this on TV together, Mike and I were discussing very intensely about maybe making a trade where I would give him Deonta Foreman and he would give me a receiver back. We couldn't make it work. I totally understand why Mike didn't want to go for it. It was like a pretty fun, in-person, intense kind of like, can we do this before kickoff kind of thing. And Deonta Foreman, as we know by now, kind of went off on my bench, had double-digit points. But we do have to ask ourselves, if he had been in Mike's starting lineup and not on my bench, would he have put forward that same performance? Because we know what he likes to do when he's sitting on my bench.
That's a Pandora's box that I'm not willing to open up, Mixon.
Yeah, me neither. Last but not least, it is Dave versus AJ. A 4-5 versus 3-6 matchup, but AJ has at least one win under him last week, tied for the worst in the league. Sorry, AJ. But we have them both here. Who wants to go first?
Well, listen, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep Trevor from the 49ers. Sunshine is going to get 3 touchdowns in the win against San Francisco. Sam Laporta's coming off a bye. My whole team has favorable matchups. I'm sorry, but my rocket ship has taken off. We are a very close league, and I think I'm getting the win this week.
It's going to be a close one this week. Unfortunately, half of your squad, it's feast or famine. even if Lawrence does go off this week, which I don't think he will, I think he's going to throw for 2 interceptions this week. My team is really coming into form after the dominant performance last week against the commissioner. I think it'll be close, but unfortunately, I'm going to win.
Look, I'm sorry. I think after all of our Arthur Smith press conferences that we've seen, I think we know he's getting his shit together this week, and he's going to play Bijan in the red zone, and he's going to get 2 touchdowns. You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
AJ just wants to get hurt again, it seems.
AJ,
There is nowhere coming from the Falcons anymore. All right, it is all Bijan season, and I think he's going down.
AJ, would you like to make that your weekly wager? 2 touchdowns for Bijan.
Guys, $10, I think, on Bijan getting 2 touchdowns.
I'll take it. I would like to take that. I'd like to take that.
Who was the matchup on the weekly wager? It was Todd.
It was
All right,
Todd.
Me and Todd. 2 touchdowns for Bijan. $10.
Thanks, AJ.
Ryan,
Ryan, what do
Todd, the easiest $10 you've ever won. Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, this one is a really interesting matchup. Currently, Dave is projected at 103 points. AJ is projected at 104 points. However,
Don't be a projection snob.
no, you're right. I won't. I just wanted to point that out. And neither have had a player play yet. So win probability is 50% each. However, Dak Prescott is playing the Giants. I think he could have a massive day. And because of that, I'm picking him. Who you got, Todd?
There's a fun bit of history to this matchup. AJ put up one of the lowest scores in league history against Dave back in 2010. Dave has won 4 or 5. You know, I initially put Dave, but looking at AJ's matchups, I think you'll see some boomy performances this weekend. Bet on your guys, AJ. It's going to be a good weekend for you.
All right, and that was our matchup rundown. Live with many of our fellow owners. That was fun, Todd. I hear you have some trivia. Let's get into that.
All right, it's trivia time. This goes to anyone in the circle here. What is the NFL record for average yards per punt in a single game? Average yards per punt in a single game.
64.
You guys know who did it?
70,
Bonus points.
73.
Okay, we got a 73. We got a 64. Anybody else?
Is it Johnny Hecker?
It's not.
63 from Anderson.
69.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's in the 60s, Todd. I don't know where in the 60s. I'll go with 66. I don't think anyone said that yet.
So this is off a single or at a minimum of 4 punts. So you're not just going to have one booming punt. So off 4 punts, the single game record was achieved by AJ Cole last weekend, who averaged 63.6 points. So Anderson wins.
There you go, Anderson. Also, yeah, we haven't even introduced Anderson to the pod. Anderson, great to have you.
Thank you.
Are you in a fantasy football league this year?
I am. I'm in 2.
2, okay.
I'm in 2. I'm in a work league and then a friend league.
And how's it going in each of those?
You know, I was hoping you weren't going to ask that. I started out 4-4 in both leagues, and now I'm 4. Or I started out 4-0 in both leagues, and now I'm 4-4
Okay.
in both leagues. So it's been bad.
Do you have like the same lineups in both?
You know, they're very similar.
Okay.
They're very similar.
Who are the exciting players that you're leading on in your roster?
Kelsey, Jared Goff. It's tough.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
And
I'm not gonna lie.
is Kelsey the guy who Taylor Swift is dating?
Yeah, that one dude that she made famous.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
just checking.
That guy. Yeah, you know it's rough. I also have $100 on the line on both leagues, so it's looking good. It's looking
$100 buy-in on both of the leagues you're currently in.
Yep.
Wow.
Who's
looking good.
Who's in?
Imagine having a buy-in that high.
Who's in with your friends league?
Oh yeah, you're young. I am smacking up your younger brother, and I'm gonna go on record and say this, Jeffrey. I hope you hear this.
Talk that shit.
Even though I think he's two of my 4 wins are from your brother. So thank you, Jeff.
Wow.
For being
Buffalo Doug.
being trashy.
Is that 3 Buffalo? 3 live
So
Buffalo.
Todd, I looked over at Todd as I picked this drink up. He didn't even look at it.
Oh,
He hit me with that buffalo with his peripheral vision. And that's just amazing. Hats off to you, Todd. I will finish this beer right now.
Oh,
Cheers.
I got Tyreek Hill as well and Cooper Kupp
Okay.
on my work league. So those are
buried the lead a bit there.
I forgot about them. I focus more on my work league because I won my league last year. So I'm trying to win the work. Yeah, Cooper Kupp's been letting me down. Also, Running back situation, trash. Madison, Kenneth Walker the third. He's decent, but Madison's been letting me down hard. He's RB1, so it's tough. It's tough. But you guys are lucky I'm not in that league. you probably quit this podcast.
I probably would. Well, thank you for being on the pod. Great to
Thanks
see
for
you.
having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's get back to those trivia pod.
All right, we've got one more trivia question. It's a bit interactive. There are 10 answers, so everyone can join in. Can you guys collectively name the top 10 teams in total DVOA through week 9 of all time? The top 10 teams in total DVOA, so offense, defense, and special teams, through week 9 of all time. And Ryan, for you, as a reminder, DVOA is a method of evaluating teams, units, or players by taking every single play during an NFL season and comparing each one to a league average baseline based on the situation.
Thank you. I was going to ask that, so thank you. You said just this season?
This is all time. So any team, weeks 1 through 9, the total DVOA they've earned.
The 07 Pats one.
They are up there. They're number 1. Great
Are
job.
the 85 Bears on there?
They are. We got 2 already. Adler's crushing it.
The Eagles team from like 2 years ago. They were 9-0.
Here's my wild
No,
card
the
pick. Are the
Chiefs.
2009 Titans on there?
No.
Or the Titans team that started out like 10-0 season.
Chiefs from like 5 years.
Carolina Panthers.
Nope.
Chiefs 2018.
Confirmed. Number 4.
This is a wild card. That Ravens team where Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl,
The 2000 Ravens.
that defense might have been able to do it by itself.
Nope.
Great defense.
What about the greatest show on turf, Rams?
They actually weren't. The defense wasn't that good.
What about that Broncos you were paying Manning?
Nope.
What about the 15-0 Vikings
Nope.
or 14-1, whatever they were?
We're only through week 9. So, teams that got hot towards the back end.
Do we do 73 Dolphins?
No, they were only really.
Give us some years.
Who do we have so far?
Yeah.
All right, we've got 3 right picks so far. We've got 2007 Pats. We've got 2018 Chiefs. We've got 1985 Bears.
Can you give us some years as hints?
I'm going to run through them quick. 91, 92, 94, 95, 2003, 96, and that's it.
Cowboys, 91, 90 or 91
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Cowboys got it.
No, that's the 80s for the Cowboys. That should be the
Were they
year
ever
that
good?
fell to the Redskins.
91 was the year that they made the big trade, the Herschel Walker trade, or 90, or 89, somewhere in there. But that's where they got all the picks and went on a dominant tear at the start of the 90s.
I thought the triplets was like early 90s.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
So you're right. There's 3. There's 3
Oh,
Dallas.
there's 3.
Yeah.
90, 92, 93, 94.
Almost 92, 94, 95.
95 is when they beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl, I believe.
I don't recall.
The Redskins won the Super Bowl in 1991.
The Commanders, Mike.
That's a good point you bring
They were
up.
the Redskins back then. So
Let's not be racist. Washington's.
well, it wasn't racist until 2 years ago. Apparently.
Interesting. Yeah.
So are you picking
I'm taking the 91 Redskins.
confirmed? They're number 2.
Nice. Good call.
So we've got the 3 Dallas teams.
I don't know. I've never heard of the 91 Commanders.
Okay.
91 Washington.
We've got 3 more to do. The 2003 team, the 1996 team, and a team this year.
The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Nope.
Possibly.
The Eagles.
Nope.
Houston Texans.
Oh, Niners
Nope.
this year.
Nope.
Panthers. This year. 2023 Panthers.
How do you know?
I watched the games.
Unfortunately, last night they kind of ruined it, but
The Browns this year?
nope.
I don't know anything about 96 either.
Bills?
So
Nope.
let's think about 2003. It's not
Nope.
Is it a good team? It's not
Yeah.
the Lions.
It's a great team. No. They were just
49ers.
The 96 one isn't the Panthers.
No.
Is it the Packers?
Yeah.
Okay. The Panthers lost to the Packers in the NFC Championship that game here.
Great team this year. It's not the Ravens.
It's the Ravens. It's the Ravens. They are number 3 all time.
I guess.
Their total DVOA is 49%, and that the anomaly is the Patriots with 71.4 over expectation, then Washington with 51.7, and then Baltimore. They have the single highest defensive DVOA through week 9 of any of these teams. They are absolutely smashing on defense.
Todd, as you know, I, Adler, am a big sports stats guy. Could you explain DVOA to me live on the pod?
I just did to lead this question off.
Could you explain
The explanation was not very
Can you
helpful.
explain what the number means?
Yeah, so you establish a league median baseline of like what teams do on 1st and 10. So if the average team gets 3 yards and this play got 12 yards, then it's 9 or whatever percentage above. They establish like how variable, like the parabola is. So they do like percent above league average, and then every play is added up.
Thanks, Dad. I just think the listeners wanted to know.
No, I appreciate it.
I think it's kind of like
I actually know what DVOA is. It's for the audience. But I don't like that it's behind the paywall, so I can't look it up myself.
It's not anymore. Football Outsiders crumbled, and the guy went to FTN, like Andrew something or another.
Well, I'm still probably not going to look at it because it's too fancy for me.
Fair enough.
I get enough fancy baseball stats. I don't need the fancy football stats.
One last team, 2003.
It's not the Giants. It's the Giants.
I don't remember who's good.
Steelers?
Nope,
What year did you say?
2003.
Patriots.
Painful year.
Yeah.
They won that year, right?
oh yeah, what
Colts.
We went to the bowl, Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was
Lost to the
oh wait,
I do not remember. Oh, three
the
Cardinals?
Panthers lost to the Patriots in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, dude. John Casey kicked that shit out of bounds.
Patriots, Giants, Colts.
Not the Rams.
Disgusting.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
No.
They, Raiders.
Nope.
Wait, actually, the Panthers Super Bowl was in 2003. I think it's actually the next. It's referred to the next year.
Not Baltimore.
Nope.
The Falcons.
I was just about to say that. I hope not.
Nope.
Why don't you just tell us, Todd?
Cowboys.
Any last guesses?
I've read the answer over your shoulder, Todd, so I'm not going to be guessing.
I'll give you one hint. This team was led by Priest Holmes,
It's Chiefs.
Yep.
Wow.
Really?
and they were number 7 overall.
Oh,
Great
they-
defense.
They didn't throw it at anyone except the tight end. Things haven't changed.
All right, well, that's it for trivia, guys. We have a new special segment that we're going to debut this week. As hinted previously, we've had so many questions come in, so we've curated a refined list of a couple. So we're going to dive in there.
Yeah, big mailbag segment. And thanks for everyone who submitted questions. So, Todd, go for it.
Here's a nice, easy one to start us off, and anyone can answer. Farmer Dave's wife would like to know, who is the next player that Taylor Swift will date?
She won't. She won't date an NFL player again, I guarantee you.
Now, Mike, is that because she's going to marry Travis Kelce, or because she's just going to go outside?
She's gonna go outside football. This was a one-time thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think this is a showman?
Yes.
I do actually. Yeah.
You heard the Buffalo Boys podcast is on record. Come for us.
Orchestrated by good guy.
I think it's a ploy to get the Google Taylor Swift jet to represent her at the Jets game instead of her actual jet.
I do love that conspiracy theory behind that. I think
I'm a big fan of that theory.
Yeah, I do like to believe that's true. All right, thanks for the question, Emily. What's next, Todd?
Anonymous.
No, I want some more. Dating. Only Mike.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, what do you think?
Taking Kelsey and make it best of
That's true.
I like that idea. Thank you. I'm satisfied with Jason Kelsey.
Who actually was or is a player, so full circle there. All right, from Anonymous, Kamish. That goes to Nixon here. From your perspective, what is the league missing? What can make it better?
I don't think much. Yeah, I love how it is. As you guys know, I do think a higher buy-in, a little bit higher buy-in, I think could be fun. I don't think we need it. I don't think we don't need any buy-in in this league, but I do think a higher buy-in could be fun stakes for this league. That's the thing that comes to mind.
I'd love some buy-in from Rick. I think that'd be great.
And he pays every year.
I'll say
He catches strays while not being there every time.
Because he's never there.
He's never
So
there.
every time it's a strip.
I would say I would love if every single member was as enthusiastic as, let's say, Todd. I think that would make a great league.
I actually think that would make an awful league. I think
Too many
one
podcasts.
Todd is enough.
One podcast.
There's only one podcast.
Well, Rick, if you're listening, DM me and I will apologize.
He's not. Sorry, guys, he's not listening.
You want the money on?
I'm not the commissioner, but I would love to give my suggestion. Not even a suggestion, but I think that the coolest thing would be an in-person draft. The problem is it's just so logistically impossible. But that would be, if we could have a yearly in-person draft, this league would really go.
I changed up my nose with a suggestion.
How about a yearly summit? That would be fun.
Also logistically challenging.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Next to impossible, but would be fun. All right. Thanks, Anonymous.
We have another anonymous write in here off the YouTube chat. Dear Buffalo Boys, quite formal. Dear Buffalo Boys, the success of this pod is undeniable. I even heard a rumor that Spotify was looking to purchase the rights. Congrats on all your success. Of course, I'm glad to know you guys would never sell out for a measly $200 million like Joe Rogan. Anyways, my question goes to the host. We're nearly 2 years into this rocket ship of a program, but I'd like to hear how it all got started. Who contacted who? What was the conversation like? And finally, what have you learned and so many questions here. What have you learned and what's changed over the last 2 years? P.S. I bought a mattress from Mattress Wax, and it's the best. Definitely the best sponsor you guys have. I hear he's giving 1% off all products this week with the code $Doug is in first place.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know you shipped mattresses to the Middle East. That's pretty cool. Thank you, YouTube commenter. Todd, I don't know if you want to take this one, but it was honestly your idea. I was down in Miami, I think for fun, visiting you, and you were like, "Hey, why don't we do a podcast? You know, some cool OC for the league." And I thought it was a great idea, and yeah, we did the first episode in your kitchen.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was spontaneous. The backdrop was we both were in the championship game. I had made the wrong defensive decision and cost myself my first championship and gave you your first championship, spawning your dynasty of 2 straight championships. So with your all of a sudden new knowledge of football and my historic knowledge of football, I thought we'd make a dynamic team, especially with how great you are on the mic. So my stats, your voice, your heart, it was a picture made in heaven.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. One of the other questions was, what have we learned? I've learned that your definition of a not hard trivia question is actually the most impossible trivia question. Yeah, what have you learned?
I've learned just to go with the flow. I'll mess up a word, I'll say the wrong stat, and it's still been a fun time. It's been about the camaraderie, and that's why it still goes. It's not about the 100 million views we got last week. It's not about the royalties.
It's definitely not about that.
You're right. We can agree on that. And, it's about brotherhood. And that's what we have here. And that's what I love. I love getting to stay in touch with you and the fellas in the circle. Yeah, that's what I've learned.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Definitely like something to look forward to every week. So I agree.
All right. Now, one of these writers came in and is actually sitting in the circle. So a bit of a pivot from that heartfelt question. Adler, your first question?
Okay, yeah. So this is a very important question. Luckily, everyone involved is here. And this question is for both Buffalo Boys. Fuck, marry, kill. Nixon, Doug, Mike Simpson.
Wow. Okay, before we start, I just have some. Are you guys into butt stuff at all? This will make the answer really easy for you. It could be.
Sorry, Doug, I'm killing you.
All right. Who are you fucking though?
Yeah, no, that's tough. Yeah, because I would fuck Nixon, but I would also fuck. So,
I'm a good play.
Yeah. You mentioned the butt stuff. I think I'm gonna fuck you, and I'm gonna marry Nixon. What about you, Todd?
Ryan, I think we're on the same page there. I went with, it was really tough on Mary Doug or Mary Nixon, because then, both high earners. I thought I might be able to just be a stay-at-home dad. Unfortunately, got to kill one of them. So
Todd, interesting. They're both unemployed at the moment. I am the highest earner of the two of them, apparently.
That is a great point.
Straight up.
Very true.
This is straight factual.
it's a great point, but I'm considering future earning potential as well.
Okay, so what's your answer?
Consider that.
Oh yeah, same as you.
Okay, exact same
Yeah.
as me. Okay, great. Thanks for the question.
I'm honored.
Yeah. It's a long time listening, first time caller. So.
I'm glad you get the question.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna dive into another anonymous question here. how come, Buffalo Boys, how come we never hear from Neil, Adler, Rick, or Hoyle? Now, Adler has been here and quite vocal so far, so we'll just strike that as a bad question overall, but we still want to hear from us, I guess. Why are some league mates not participating?
Yeah, I mean,
Todd, did you write this question in? I'm curious.
I don't think it was Todd because it would have just targeted one of those four people. Answer for you guys.
Sure.
Not everyone cares as much about fantasy football and about talking with you guys as everyone else does. It's the simple answer.
I always forget that Hoyle hasn't been on the pod. And we don't talk to him because I talk to him every week in D&D. So, you know, like I get my Hoyle.
Shout out to the Firebreakers.
Firebreakers. Woo! Absolutely. Yeah. Who are the other two? Neil and Jimmy.
It was Adler.
And Adler. Okay. Well,
Adler was afraid of trivia.
Is this a podcast specific participation complaint?
yes.
Oh, it's because you never asked me to come on the podcast.
Yeah. I would love to do an orientation with Adler. Just saying.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
I did turn down trivia, so you did ask me to do trivia, and I said no because I stink at football trivia.
But you got 2 out of the 10. I think you got the most guesses right.
Yeah, that's true. But that was like I couldn't have gotten the other ones.
Sure,
So
sure.
I got the greatest regular season team of all time and the most famous like dominant team of all time. But hey, I mean maybe I know more about football than I think.
I think you made that writer very happy coming on the pod this week. And we'll return with owner orientation this offseason. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Can't wait.
The next anonymous question they've written in and they want to know who is best suited to be commissioner in this league.
That's the whole question.
Are they assuming that
Nixon would not
Nixon
be.
is not the commissioner?
No, they would like the affirmation if it is to be Nixon.
Oh, I see.
I
I see.
I swear on everything.
I mean, in my
I want
opinion,
the smoke so.
in my opinion, it is Nixon.
I think so too.
In my opinion, I think we should have a commissioner that's not actually in the league.
Who would do that?
Explain what.
I think we should have a commissioner that's outside of the league members. I think that would be more interesting.
You think anyone would care that much?
No, but I do think it would be better than Nixon. But I do think Nixon's a close second.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the rest of us, the 13 of us, we suck. We wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I would do it.
Yeah, but no one would want
No one would want me to do it. Oh, I would do it though.
I would immediately quit the league.
Great.
The moment
Fantastic.
before any
Anderson,
rules were
would you like to know
established.
a hypothetical
I would be
fantasy
leaving
football league with
the
you, bro?
league.
Hell yeah, dude. I would jump.
Yeah, I actually agree. I agree with Mike. I think like an independent third person that somehow cared as much about the well-being as the people in the league would be the ideal person in independent arbiter. That's just like that isn't a person that possibly exists, but it would be cool if somebody cared, wasn't in our league but still cared about it a lot.
You know, if we increase the buy-in, we might be able to portion off some money to make people care.
We could pay somebody.
Nope.
All right, to answer the actual question, I would also say it's Nixon. He cares. He's fair. Everyone respects him.
I'm really glad this question came in during my bachelor party when people are feeling like they have to be nice to me. Because I don't know if I could take it.
All right, here is a non-football related question. What are the best video game soundtracks of all time?
Tetris.
Who's this for? Is this for the
Tony
host?
Hawk.
For anyone.
I think
Anyone.
for anybody.
FIFA's all the way up.
Skyrim.
FIFA's
Skyrim.
always up there.
These are terrible answers, and I'll tell
NHL,
you why. I'll tell you why.
Assassin's Creed also always has a good soundtrack.
It's got to be Mario or Zelda game. One of the two. It's really not close in my personal opinion.
Which ones?
My top 5 would be Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and then Halo.
When I heard Pro Skater 2, would be my pick.
I actually wrote 2. It's right there.
Nice.
He did write that.
My top 5 would be they would all be FIFA games
But does that count? Because isn't FIFA kind of like a playlist more than a soundtrack?
in the same way that Tony Hawk is.
Yeah, Tony Hawk.
It's included in one of those out of 5. So I guess if you're just talking soundtrack that had to be created for the video game, I'd probably say Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I don't know, Zelda. Probably Zelda. All of them.
Yeah, if we're going with like playlisty ones.
AJ, what do you think? AJ's got his arms up. He's got a disgusted look on his face. I'm curious what AJ.
Final Fantasy 7 through 12. You're a bunch of normies.
Pokemon has some bangers.
True.
Pokemon Red.
Battle music. Slaps.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City and San
What
Andreas.
about league? What about league? What about leagues? Do the world jams count for the soundtrack of a game?
We have a very special appearance by a non-league member, Paul Marino. Paul.
A great video game soundtrack is the Mega Man games for NES.
Okay. Nice.
I like classic 8-bit soundtrack.
Very good. Any thoughts about fantasy football or regular football?
I have no thoughts whatsoever. I'm not in this league, and I don't have any sport thoughts. I appreciate everything you do, though. You guys are great.
We appreciate you. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Paul.
Any other video game thoughts? All right, let's move into another question from Adler this time. Todd, if you were managing Ryan's team, what trade would you be trying to make and why? Same question for Ryan.
I guess you should go first, Todd. I need to look at your roster.
I know what I would do if I had.
What would you do, Mike?
I would trade away McCaffrey
Oh, to who?
to anybody because you can get a lot for him.
Can?
I think, generally speaking, the people in this league are too afraid to trade away their best players.
If you could get a haul, and there's not a lot of teams that could get a haul at this point in the season. Maybe Hoyle, but
You have the number one fantasy asset, and people always want him. You can get a lot for Christian McCaffrey.
I thought about this question in brief and came up with trading Devontae Adams off his name value and anticipated lack of future production the rest of the season for any up and coming receiver and maybe backup running back combo. If you were trading my team, something like, which I don't want Devontae, but something like a DK and Jalen Warren. Try to, because you could use some depth with some of your injuries. So getting that name value for Devontae as like a star and getting two really good role pieces, I think would help your team.
I would definitely make a trade for a quarterback if I were you. You've been in between some for a while. You had Love, I think, the last 2 weeks. Didn't go super well. You have Kyler, who might do well, but maybe not.
Call of Duty came out recently,
Apparently it sucks. So
but so does Kyler.
Maybe you talk to Neil and say, hey, man, like, what do you want for Purdy after this week? I mean, maybe you guys can figure it out.
Wasn't Purdy on Rick's team?
He was on the waiver wire.
Yeah, Rick dropped. Big
$100
big
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
I missed that.
Very annoying to me because I couldn't pick him up since I have no waiver money. And Neil got him.
Oh,
If I had it, I'd offer $100 in fact.
Wait, why did Rick?
Because he has
Because Rick has
top
everybody on
7
line.
quarterback in fantasy football.
Sam Howell.
That's right. Wow.
He had like 7 guys on bye this week, so he needed to free up that roster spot, despite usually keeping one open.
Adler, didn't you win on the back of Kyler Murray in his rookie season?
I've never won with Kyler Murray. I had Kyler Murray last season, and he was doing very well. And then he actually really fucked my season over because I had him in the game when he got hurt. If he just played, I would have won that game, and then basically locked up a bye in the playoffs. And then I lost that and didn't get a bye, and then lost immediately in the playoffs. RIP my season. But Kyler Murray.
I hope he stinks for you, except when he throws the trip, right?
All right. That's it. Yeah, great question, Adler. Thank you.
All right, guys. Any other questions you'd like to have a late submission for to the mailbag?
Todd and Ryan and whoever else wants to answer who's going to win this year. Prediction time.
I'll go first as the current leader in the league. I think it actually won't be me. I'm liking my chances to make playoffs. I'm not feeling that confident to actually, seal the deal. I'm liking Neil's team a lot. I think Neil's probably my number one.
Mattress Black, could you make a guarantee that if Neil's team wins, all mattresses are free, similar to your cousin Mattress Mac?
Well, why would I, as the owner of Mattrix Blacks, run such a promotion when I would be the loser in that scenario? So no, I think actually we're gonna double the cost of mattresses if Neil wins, kind of as retribution against the fantasy community for not letting me win.
Yeah, my pick is Neil too. His team is really, really good.
I'm going to take Adler.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Take Adler. Have you guys considered that A-Chan is coming back next week? I'm going to take the field over Jimmy for sure. Oh, you take the field over everybody every time. I'll take Adler over the field.
Okay.
Here's kind of the flip side of that question, Nixon, is who won't make playoffs? We have 9 owners in this very space right now.
Can we just go all the way down and say who do we think is getting last?
Yeah, let's do that.
Who's getting last?
It's going to be AJ. Yeah, I don't know. I think for the first time we're gonna have a back-to-back, a new Mr. Back-to-back on it, and it's gonna be tough.
You think Todd's getting last place?
Todd's getting last place.
Team is looking
Todd's team's
bad.
I think it's AJ.
My team's on the up and up. I don't know what you think.
You're in last place, so they're by definition on the up and up. But
Well, that's not fair. Eckler missed 4 weeks.
I think it's Rick. I think it's Rick because AJ Brown is good, but Goddard is kind of done, and Waddle has a really bad schedule in the postseason weeks. And Mostert might be on the way out with Jimmy's boy, whose name I don't know how to pronounce.
H-Chan officially.
So Rick, AJ, and Todd. Seem like they're the owners of the hockey.
Who do you think it's going to be, Nixon?
When I'm gonna say Adler, and I kind of just want that to be true because I think Adler's season trajectory to a win would be amazing. But I'm gonna say AJ, and I should have known this because I traded him to him. But if the HN Mostert situation works out the way that I think it might, Rick's team might be really hurting for running backs. So that's a good shout out. I would pick AJ.
Correct.
Would you do a second weekly wager?
That's a season
wager. That's a season long wager? No, I'm not going to do that. I'll take a field over an individual, obviously.
All right, my winner is going to be Adler, which it feels a little jumping on the bandwagon, but I was going to say it.
Show the love to Adler. He appreciates it.
Yep, he needs it. And my loser, it's going to be a bit spicy. It's Mattress Block himself.
You think I'm losing?
What? Playoffs on a tie, having lost every game the rest of the season.
Starting this
and then just plummet to the bottom.
That is spicy as fuck.
Wow. Do you want to put your money where your mouth
Todd, is that your weekly wager?
Yeah.
No, that would be a season
wager. Is that your season wager for the week?
No, because it would be a terrible
Hold
wager.
on. I think maybe we're missing something. It's not possible.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. While Dave was checking his, I wanted Todd to research, is that even possible?
Yeah, I think it
Remember,
is.
if you're
I think
at
it
the
is.
top of the consolation ladder, you cannot get last.
Oh.
Bad rules. You're right.
Top matchup or top team?
If you're the top matchup.
If you come in 7th or 8th in the regular season, you cannot be last.
Well, I mean, I'm only technically 4 games up on the worst team.
Well, he's saying you'd miss out off a tiebreaker and become 7th, which means
There's 5 games remaining. I think I can clinch not losing the league this week if I do beat Forrest.
I agree with Todd that Doug's not making the playoffs, but I don't think it's possible.
I would consider maybe Ryan's team being last place.
Ryan is on quite the slide. I'm curious what Ryan thinks about.
My team is going to be fine. I'm going to make the playoffs. I guarantee it.
Guaranteed.
I think Doug's making it.
Lock it
I think
in.
Doug's got too many wins.
I think I have too many wins. I think I agree.
Exactly.
I'm 3 wins up on most of the
I'll be
league, and I'm 4 wins up on 2 of the.
I like to hear this though because I played Doug in a few weeks.
I'll just try to answer Todd's prediction.
It is a real spicy.
That is
Actually, I think I played Doug next week.
It is spicy.
Dave hasn't answered the question.
Dave?
Questions.
Who's your winner, Dave?
Who's your winner? Who's your loser? Dave does not have his phone, so this might be a little tough.
Loser is AJ.
Dude,
wow.
After losing this week, his team just plummets.
It's just unsalvageable. 2 touchdowns for Bijan. AJ.
2 touchdowns from your.
I don't know if Mike can pick that up. AJ whispered in Dave's ear.
What?
Bijan Robinson 2 touchdowns.
What's your record?
6-3.
I think Ryan wins.
Oh
No,
Have you
what?
seen his team?
He's
Okay, that
Love
might be
it.
the
Love it, Dave.
that might be the spicier one.
just go just go look at his team real quick and then come back and then realize.
I don't even
We're
know.
feisty, dude. We're feisty.
If you want to, I think Ryan could basically lock up the league if he traded away Christian McCaffrey.
Ryan-
that sounds counterintuitive.
Ryan
but-
claiming to be the best team to potentially win while also benching his best player on paper this week is a bold take. His best player. Oh, no, I forgot he had Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I forgot he had CMC.
Okay, if you had CMC,
I would be going to Dave and asking for Kelsey and probably 2 other players. But Dave doesn't trade, so my number.
so you would give up CMC for less than 3 players. It would have to be a 3.
It could be 2 players,
But they would have
but
to
I would have
be good.
Sure, it's not.
Like top 10s.
Oh yeah, Dave both.
Yeah, see, I don't think anyone would do that.
I think there's a couple teams that are like flush at certain positions that have a bench player that they don't need that can upgrade a running back
for basically a starter and a bench player.
Mix.
I'll offer you right now, Chris Olave and Travis Etienne. I think that is not true. It depends on what you believe Chris Olave is.
Because Olave is not. Because
How
Olave
much are you gonna trust Mike as your
a lot.
It's not, Olave is not.
Not only that, I have to acquire Olave because I'm collecting all the Christian.
You certainly have to believe in Olave, which I do.
Collecting
But I think it's very cool.
Now, should we talk about that? Nixon is collecting
B.F. Adler will go for CMC for Hurts, Smith, and Gibbs.
I like how you
said that like Adler was.
What do you think, Adler?
Feet away. Hurts and that deal.
We're gonna have first trade executed live on the pod.
You need jobs running? You can deal your quarterback.
No, I think give him another week.
I
If
don't.
he goes off again, we can talk.
If he goes off again, the price goes up.
I think Dom's losing his job.
I am happy about some potential trade negotiations on the
Next
podcast because I really want a lot.
The actual back and
happen. Bachelor party.
comes off.
I'd be insulted. One at times.
Trade.
Let's talk. I'm in, Adler. We can probably make something work.
Do you have any bad luck?
Adler, do you want to
I have zero fat, which is very annoying.
All right, boys. With that, we are getting a little bit off track, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. It's been a stellar podcast. I have to thank Ryan. I have to thank all of our Buffalo boys here. And I have to thank Doug for getting buffaloed twice. So I'll let Doug say it this week. Doug,
3 times.
Don't get buffaloed.
thanks, Doug.